Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Resident Rule Breakers. I'm Camille, and today Kayla is again not feeling well at all. We wish her the best. She is suffering from after effects of coronavirus, and she's having a really hard time breathing and stuff. So, sending her well wishes. But today I am joined by a good friend of mine, Brittany. Hey, Britt.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
A little tired. Thanks for joining me.
Of course.
This is actually third podcast with you, so you've become like a regular substitute.
That's all right. I can do it.
Radak was our previous guest host, which was fun. That one was actually like a lot of people like that. So
I bet.
Anyway, so this week we are discussing the newest episode that came out called Requiems and Revivals. It was written by Michael Notarile and Emily Diane Pressley, and it's directed by Leslie Libman. Michael and Emily are regular writers. They've written several episodes in the past. I think this is like the first I've seen directed by Leslie Libman. That's her new name to me. I haven't seen her name as credited as a director or anything like that for the Resident. What initial thoughts? Let's hear thought on this episode.
I loved it. I was so excited actually because I hadn't when you asked me to do this, I hadn't actually caught up yet. So I was caught up except for this episode. So I just watched it last night actually. And I was like, yes, this was a great episode. I'm so excited I get to talk about this because this was such a good episode. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, there are a couple of new guest stars that came on this episode. And one is Billie, who's played by Jessica Lucas. You might know her from Fox series Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
And Conrad Ricamora is back. I think this is his second episode, playing Jake Wong, who you might know Conrad from ABC series How to Get Away with Murder.
Great series.
I actually like these two new characters.
I did too.
I'm intrigued by their storylines and stuff, even though with Billie, this is her first episode, but she came in fire.
Yeah, she came in strong. I liked it. I tend to dislike anyone that anyone else dislikes, which should have made me dislike her because of Conrad, but I was like, nah, I like it.
I just loved how she I'm sorry, but Deb on her had chemistry with that little scene where they were fighting over the parking spot.
Yeah, you know what? I might like that because I just want Devin to be happy.
I don't know, but but yeah, I like the little. She came in with attitude and fire, and just ready to own the world and stuff like that. But a little backstory on Billie. She was a fifth-year resident 3 years ago, so I'm assuming she's no longer a resident, but an actual doctor. Either that or quit the medical field. I don't know.
Well, she did say she was in. Where did she say she was? Haiti? She said she was somewhere doing
working on herself.
Well, she said she was doing something like Doctors Without Borders, that kind of thing somewhere. So probably still a practicing doctor, probably not a surgical resident.
But 3 years ago, she was a fifth-year resident at Chastain. She was a fifth-year neurosurgery resident. So this is why I was thinking, if she's gonna stay, she'll probably work with Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee that she's gonna stay from all press that we have about her so far. She's just a recurring actor, so she might stay, she might not. But if she does stay, she'll probably work under Kane. Yeah. But she has history with Conrad because she worked on Conrad's patient. She did a solo surgery, and it didn't turn out well. And Conrad got her fired from what she keeps blaming him for anyway. Because she wasn't supposed to do surgery by herself.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when I saw it, I immediately flashed back to season 1. I think episode 1, Belle mentions a resident that Conrad got fired. So I didn't go back and check it, but I think that he may have been talking about her, because in season 1, episode 1, Belle says something to Conrad about him getting a resident fired. And I immediately remembered that, but I should have gone back and checked.
But I do remember Annabeth Higgins, which Jessica's character Billie mentioned. Annabeth was the little girl in Conrad's wallet, the one who
I remember that.
miscalculated the chemo for.
Yeah.
And died and stuff. So yeah, a lot of this like Billie is Nick's close friend. Throughout in the beginning of the episode, Nick was still suffering from PTSD. She was waking up, in cold sweats and crying and stuff from the stabbing. So, but yeah, she wanted Billie, and Conrad, gave it to her, called Billie and stuff. But Billie, it's so weird because like we've never even really heard of Billie.
I know. I had an issue with it too. That this is the one person Nick needed, but they've, other than maybe Belle mentioning her, maybe, and that's just me having a memory, and he could have been talking about someone else. We've never heard about this person,
right?
Ever. Suddenly, this is the one person that Nick needs, and we didn't hear about her when she was in jail, and like when Nick was in prison, she didn't need her.
When she lost her sister.
Yeah, none of that time.
It was like, wow, y'all are really that close, and you never mentioned her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, she wasn't there for the wedding. She wasn't there. Wait, her reason for not being there for the wedding is kind of understandable because
100%,
based on how everyone in Chastain reacted to her just walking in, I would probably not be comfortable going to a wedding full of all those people. But like,
yeah, I agree. I understand the wedding thing, but I don't know. I think they could have mentioned her during the wedding, like, "Oh, I wish Billie was here," just to give us a little foreshadowing or something.
Exactly. It's like, who's this Billie? How you guys? For 4 years, you didn't mention Billie. I mean, like, you didn't even like mention her when Jesse died or anything like that. Yeah. So,
and I mean, I understand that it's hard to foresee when you add new characters and things like that. But they could have mentioned her at some point this season when, just the wedding alone would have been a great point just to kind of introduce us and be like, oh yeah, they mentioned Billie back in episode 1, just
like, oh, I know who Billie is. You remember her from so-and-so.
Yeah, exactly.
But oh well, obviously a miss on the writers on that part. But anyway, Conrad really doesn't trust Billie. Like from the beginning, he does not like her. She doesn't like him, and stuff like that. Conrad holds a lot of grudges, that's for sure.
Yeah, which is very strange to me because he does make mistakes and kind of go out on a limb all the time, and she did, and she was wrong, and she seemed to own up that she did a bad thing. So I mean, I don't know. I understand him being upset because she maimed a person, for life, but I would think that he would have a little more compassion for a resident making a mistake,
I do feel like in a way a lot of Conrad's reactions with, some of the doctors or whatever is very hypocritical.
I mean,
because
it's like ego. He's got a big ego as well. He blames a lot of other people's ego, but Conrad's got a pretty big ego himself that he needs to check.
Yes, like, dude, you're a resident. You're like in 3rd or 4th year resident. You're not you need to like step back a little bit and learn that, listen to the attendings and stuff. You can't just over talk them or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
I like
Nick,
that.
so Nick was happy obviously to see Billie, but one of the things that I was touched upon was when she said, "What kind of nurse am I if I can't save my own baby?" Because she was like, struggling with the baby and stuff. I was like, "Girl, your mom."
Yeah.
Throw that nurse away. It's okay. But anyway,
and as a nurse, she should know that she can't save everybody.
No. But also as a mother, you want to save your baby.
Oh, I mean, of course, I'm a mother, so yeah.
You die for your baby.
I'm a mother who had a baby at 31 weeks, so I completely understand what it's like to be terrified and
yeah. So baby Hawkins is under distress. We find out that she has. I love the names. I still want to know what the baby is going to be named. What do you think the baby will be named?
Nothing like what they're saying. I think they're throwing out the craziest names, and it's going to be nothing like that. It's going to be something normal like Sarah.
Well, actually, remember when Conrad said, "I love you, Tanya," to the baby?
Yeah.
The writer Michael, his fiance's name is Tanya, so he put on his Instagram post that it is his Valentine's Day gift to his
that's
fiance
so cute.
to have Matt Zuckerine.
You know what?
I love you, Tanya.
That makes sense now because Tanya seemed like the wildest of all the names. Like Posey was weird too.
Yeah.
But Tanya for me seemed like that just does not feel like something Conrad would name his child. So that makes sense now that it was.
Yeah, so it was like a call out to his fiance.
That's adorable.
He posted it that that was her gift from him, was to have Matt Zuckerine.
I would take that gift in a heartbeat.
Would it be awesome if Matt said, "I love you, Brittany"?
I love you, Brittany. Well, I'd be like, "Oh, I love you too." My living room. In my living room talking to the TV. I love you too, Matt.
Oh my god. That is okay. I do seriously think it's gonna be Jessica or Jessie or something.
Oh,
like
you know what? That makes sense. Yeah. Do we know what Nick's mom's name is? I
don't think so. I don't think they've ever mentioned it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm completely blanking on it.
And same with Conrad's mom.
Do we know what her name is?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm over here like I don't know.
Anyway, so yeah, baby Hopkins has anemia. So they found out that due to Nick having all those blood transfusions, it caused a reaction on the baby, so that the blood cells are being attacked or whatever, and so they have to do an intrauterine transfusion, but it carries major risks because the baby Nick could miscarry and stuff. So there was this whole debate on whether or not Nick should stay awake for this procedure. I am so glad that she was put under.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I get what she was saying, where it was like, emotionally she couldn't just wake up and find out that her baby is gone or whatever. So I mean, like with the whole procedure where the baby was breathing down or whatever, and to hear that panic and to have all that, be conscious of all that, I'd be panicking. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
that would be bad not only for me but for the baby too if I was awake during that whole thing.
That would have put her in danger as well.
Yeah.
For something to happen.
Yeah, but I am glad that the baby is fine. We all do that. Everyone keeps panicking about the baby. And so they're going, "She'll be fine. Don't worry. She'll be fine. We're good. We're good. We're gonna be good."
Yeah.
Yeah. So the baby at the end of the episode kicked, which was the first time that Nick felt the baby kick. So I've never had that. So how does it feel to have a baby kick?
I mean, I'm assuming it's the same for everybody, but it's kind of like butterflies in your stomach. Like it's very similar to like gas bubbles. I know it sounds weird, but it's very similar. It's just more consistent to where you know it's the baby and you kind of feel a move. And one of my first videos that I say of my son Asher is my stomach. You can see it kind of moving, and like
I've seen several videos of that, and I'm like, does it hurt?
Yeah, I have a cup of tea and it's just sitting on my belly and you can see it just kind of like moving up and down. But yeah, it kind of feels like butterflies, like gas bubbles, very distinct. Some people feel it very early, which I don't really know where we are with Nick's pregnancy right now.
I think last I heard was like she was like 5 months at least.
Yeah.
When she had her just before the attack, they were saying about 5 months. So
yeah, they made
it 2 weeks later, so about 5.5, 6.
Okay, because I know that they had mentioned it was after the first trimester, obviously.
Yeah.
It's about. I think I felt Ash kick at about 17 weeks, somewhere in there. So.
But yeah, I think we all breathed a sigh of relief that the baby was okay. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Nobody wanted that baby dead or anything like that. That would have been horrible. You would have seen a whole lot of people protesting the show.
Oh, absolutely. Haven't we had enough? Give us something.
Someone was saying in our group that Nick is like, with Nick, always something bad happens with her or whatever. So you're like holding your breath, waiting for, the next bad thing. And that's what I was like. Nick is Meredith Grey.
Yeah, she's cursed.
The resident. But I mean, that's what you want drama. You want people to like worry about her, but also at the same time, don't give us a heart attack every week.
Like, give someone else some drama.
I know, right?
Can I mention that every time they show Kane, I forget that he's okay. Every time we see Kane, I forget that anything's happened to him. Like him being gone doesn't even have any like I didn't even, was he even in this episode?
No.
I don't even remember.
It wasn't here either.
And I didn't even notice. Didn't even until like I was thinking about it later and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Kane is like can't talk right now.
Yeah, he has like a vet farm or something. Yeah. So he's not even in Chastain. Poor guy.
I won't say poor guy. He can't be redeemed in my. We talked about this last time I was on the show. There's no redeeming him for me. I was like,
oh, the guy. He gets on my nerves. That he does. He really does. So anyway, Billie is gonna be staying to help out with Nick. So we will see her for another couple of episodes. Don't know how long. Jessica's gonna say, don't know the contract situation with her, but yay.
Yeah,
I just hope that Conrad just like they have come to a truce.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So it's for the love of Nick, and Billie kind of told him what happened to his patient, told him what's going on or whatever. It's not, so that he doesn't think that she just went and killed him for no reason.
Yeah.
That just sounds horrible. Okay, so the next storyline that we have is Jake, Belle, and Kit and AJ. So they have a double hand transplant patient. There's a little boy. He lost his 2 hands from a staph infection or whatever. And poor guy, like, I love his spirit. His spirit is so good.
He's so sweet.
I know, and he was so he just wants to play baseball. Like the whole thing, he's a big baseball fan and wanted to play. I think his mom gave him a baseball bit, kind of thing. And as weird as it sounds, as someone who has a disability, that's what motivates you more than anything is to not just have, oh, I want my hands or whatever, but to like, I want my hands to play baseball. I want, like, you know what I mean, to have like a goal. Like, why do you want these hands? Even if it's like a small thing as to hold your baby or to play baseball, to put on, and then to have someone like say, this is for you. So when you actually get it motivates you even more and stuff like that. So I just love the guys. His name is Andy. Andy, sorry.
Yeah.
The boy's name was Andy, but yeah, he's a big baseball fan. He wanted an all-star team. All of the doctors that worked with him, he always asked, "Are you an all-star surgeon?"
I loved that.
I know. It was heartbreaking though, because at first the plastic surgeon that was gonna be part of the team quit. Because Chastain went to becoming a public hospital, and he couldn't deal with the pay cuts, I guess. Once it became a public hospital. So now the whole team was worried because the transplant, if they don't do the surgery soon, they're gonna lose the hands, and stuff like that. So that's when Beth thought of Jake. And it's so cute because Jake had done one 4 years ago in Guatemala, and AJ said something about best practices 4 years ago. It has nothing to do with best practices. And Belle's comeback was, best practice may have to give way to best available. Like he may probably not be the best right now, but he's the best closest to us, and we need somebody right now.
Joke's on him because he did really well.
I know, I loved it. Oh my God, Jake, I love Jake. I really do. First of all, I loved, there were like hints of their Belle and his closeness.
Yeah.
Cause first one hint is he called Randolph Dolph.
Yeah.
That was his nickname. And then when Belle called him, he was like, he was like, I'm there in a minute. All Belle had to do was tell him about the patient. But more importantly, the coach of the curveball story. I got teary-eyed listening to that story. And I honestly believe the coach was Belle.
That's what I thought too. I did the same thing. I was like, was the coach Belle?
The way Belle was reacting to the story, yes.
You could tell that he was just like, whoa, that was an important moment for you. He clearly knew about the moment. It was clearly something that was special to him as well.
Yeah.
So that was my first thought, was he the coach?
Yeah. I just love that and this happened when he was 7 years old. So Jake, I'm assuming by now, is like in his 30s, late 20s, maybe early 30s. If to have that story still resonate with him 20 plus years later, if the coach is Belle, that means that, even through the trials and probably through the, hurt feelings or whatever, Jake still has that nugget of memory to live by. And I just loved it. I think it was cute.
I did too.
I cried a little bit. listening to the story.
I like seeing Belle in that kind of light as a compassionate, caring person. I really enjoy seeing him like that.
Yeah. And Bell's a good guy. I'm just glad that we do get to see not only how much he's grown, but like we still get to be surprised by him, you know.
Yeah, he continues to grow. So it's not just that he's grown. We get to watch him continue to grow and continue to see new, compassionate parts of him,
Yeah.
So I like that a lot.
Yeah. And but before we move a little further, with Kit needed to get privileges for Jake, for him to do the surgery.
Yeah.
She was pissed because the board was interviewing only male doctors.
Yes.
And she was like, oh, they interviewed you? Wait, what about me? Like, how come nobody's ever interviewed me? How come nobody approached me? And they were like all men lined up outside of the interview room and stuff like that. And I feel like that is so sad that you, like, with such a high power position, people's first instinct is to just interview penises.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I could see the argument for someone saying, oh, hey, maybe no women applied for it. But that's when it becomes the, directors, or in this case,
the governor.
Thank you, the governor, job to seek out some women to make it a little bit more, diverse. If you see something missing, you need to go search it out, and that not just includes men and women. That includes,
non-binary, LGBTQ.
Yes, exactly. Different
multiracial.
Yes, exactly. If you see that you're only doing, interviewing white men, you have a responsibility to say, hey, are there any powerful women of any color? Are there any powerful LGBTQ? I need to include and make sure that I'm looking at, yes, obviously qualification matters, but I think it's her responsibility to seek out, to make sure that she has a diverse pool of people to choose from.
Yeah, Kit called out the governor because she was saying, like, as someone in your position, as a woman, the first female governor of color in Georgia, you should, why are you only interviewing men? You know what I mean? You should be more compassionate with that and stuff like that. I said this a couple of weeks ago I didn't say this a couple of weeks ago because you were substituting for me, but I was thinking this. The first time the governor, who at the time was a congresswoman, was on the episode, I was on the resident, I said she gave me Stacey Abrams vibes.
Oh, yeah.
And she still gives me Stacey Abrams vibes at this episode. And also, she was wearing the Stacey Abrams blue. Stacey Abrams is a very one of her iconic pictures for Stacey Abrams. She was wearing that same blue suit color thing that this governor always wears. But yeah, that woman gives me Stacey Abrams vibes. And just the fact that the resident writers sent her from being a congresswoman to governor, maybe they're foreshadowing Stacey Abrams' future. But yes, so anyway, Kit called out the governor, called out the board of directors, rightfully so. Absolutely. Why are you only interviewing men? And the governor took that double hand transplant surgery as Kit's interview for CEO and stuff. Amy Holden Jones did an interview with TV Fanatic where she said this was a storyline that she wanted to write. To have the woman be the head, like a woman empowerment story. And I feel like having the co-creator, the creator of the show, be a woman. This is the type of storyline that, like, yeah, needs.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would be very surprised if it wasn't any other way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I love Kit. And go Kit. Definitely boss.
I mean, I think it's well deserved. I mean, whose idea was it to become a county hospital? It was Kit's idea, you know. It was that was her thing that she threw in, and Belle was like, "That's a great idea," and he called someone in. But that was her idea, you know. So
she was the one who was like, "Don't we know somebody? Did we just help someone be a governor? Did we just?"
Yeah, she saved Chastain, so rightfully she deserves this in every way.
Yeah, and I love Kit is just like powerful and awesome, and I love her.
I love her. I adore her.
I love her. I love that all of the female characters on this TV show are strong in their own way.
Yeah, I mean, even this is going to sound bad. Even going back to Lane, she was a very powerful, strong woman. She did something horrendous and awful, but she was also, I mean, she did
top of her league, top of her career. She was a horrible woman.
She let greed get in her way, and she did some horrible things. But before that, she was a very talented, powerful oncologist.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do a great job of bringing in powerful, strong women that we all end up loving.
Yeah, and we all can somewhat relate to and somewhat, look up to and stuff like that. I mean, Minna isn't in this episode because she's working with, from what AJ told Kit, Minna is working on her immigrant issues. So we see her next 2 weeks, in 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm just glad that Kit will be there, and I'm glad. I can't wait to see her kick ass as CEO.
Right. Yeah.
But back to the surgery, Jake. The team like literally saved the boy's hands. There was a couple of oopsies that they had to work on. One was like one of the nerves or whatever's was too long, and then another was that like the blood wasn't going into the hands first. So Jake had to go in there and like fix it. And we got to see Jake is in this one surgery. We got to see Jake is really good. He knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. And so I'm very happy that he'll be working on Chastain.
Yeah.
So they offered him the job.
Yeah. I liked him. I think he'll do great things. And I think this is going to give us a great Belle storyline. I think this is
definitely.
This is gonna let us dig a lot deeper into Belle's past and who he really is as a person. And I like that. And I'm excited. I'm really excited for this Belle storyline. So
I also like Jake being there because one, he's Asian descent.
Actually, I was going to say that. Yes. So yeah.
So diversity in the actors, as well as he's gay.
Yeah.
So very diverse character and diverse writing. So thumbs up all around. I can't wait to learn more about Jake. I don't think they have yet to mention his homosexuality.
Not yet, but I'm sure it'll be something that will.
Yeah, that's one thing that Radak was mentioning a couple of weeks ago, was that a lot of times when he goes out to read for a gay character, the only thing that they come with, the only description for the character is the character's gay. It's like, what else about him? Yeah. But with Jake, we're learning about him without his homosexuality, which means that we're invested in his storyline. And then we find out later he's gay.
Yeah.
We only know that he's gay because that was his character description when Conrad Ricamora came on the show.
Yeah.
But yes, so I'm excited to also explore that storyline with Jake and stuff. But yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay, so next storyline is obviously Devon and Irving and Chastain becoming a public hospital.
Yeah.
So last week we know that to save Chastain, Bell went up to the governor and said, "Hey, look, why don't you invest on Chastain so we don't lose this hospital?" She said yes. And so now the state of Georgia has owns Chastain. No more Red Rock, which is good. But more patients and less money to take care for them, because like now they can't turn away patients, which is sort of what I feel like what Conrad and many of the doctors of Chastain have been fighting for all this time. They've always been like, we want to take care of the patients no matter whether or not they can pay for it. And here's their chance.
Yeah. I think it being a public hospital is going to be a great opportunity to see what Conrad can do. I think because he tends to be very innovative and very MacGyver-ish when it comes to figuring things out. So he's really good at not always needing the most high-tech things. And you know what? I think that might also, if we get to keep Billie, she seems like when we saw her with Nick and the syringe blowing it, she also has that same kind of thing as Conrad, where she can be, not always need the high tech things. So I think if she stays, there's another opportunity right there to really see what those two can do.
Yeah. I just remembered, put down my notes. Excuse me. I put down my notes. Feldman and the squeaky wheel.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because he kept trying to push the computer around and the wheel was all squeaky. He was like,
I thought that was a funny little little tidbit in this, somewhat worrisome episode.
Yeah, that is so hilarious. But yeah, so now they're not Devon's father passed away in a public hospital. So at first, Devon was apprehensive. He honestly thought he was going to be part of the problem having Chastain be a public hospital. But I'm glad that now, by the end of it, he does see that it will be part of the solution, be able to treat people that previously would have never been able to get treatment from Chastain. So his patient for this episode was Norman.
Yeah.
And his wife, who was seen by several hospitals before and had diagnosed him as having Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Because he kept like falling and getting headaches and stuff like that and having balance issues. He also had walking issues and things like that. He burnt himself as well, which was why he went to the emergency room originally. But Devon was like, a lot of your symptoms don't sound like Alzheimer's. Let me do more tests, which like Irving did not like at first, because I guess there's a time limit for each patient because there's so many patients you can't spend time with every single one of them.
Well, even Irving tried to discharge them. So
yeah, which pissed me off at first.
Yeah.
But Devon was like, just trust me. I know there's something wrong. But anyway, the guy, Norman, was diagnosed as having hydrocephalus. And it wasn't, which is spinal fluid buildup in the brain.
Yeah.
So he did a spinal tap on Norman, and Norman's symptoms got better right after the spinal tap and stuff. And he's gonna come back to have a shunt put in so that won't happen again. Yeah. But yeah, that was pretty much Devon's storyline.
Yeah.
There was not much about that, but I'm just glad that Devon does see that there is some positive in working at a public hospital.
He also seems to be starting to bounce back,
Yes.
not as much attitude. And I mean, not that I blame him in any way for that, but he seems like he may be starting to deal with his
Grief.
Grief. Thank you.
And his mom and stuff. I'm happy that that Devon is being back to his old self.
Yeah.
And stuff. So I'm glad. Anyway, Irving and Devon are gonna work harder on triaging patients so that there will be enough time to see everyone, but also spend time with patients that need to be seen longer or whatever. So that's good. Next week there's no new episode. There will be a rerun of the season 4 premiere, Wedding and a Funeral. So yay. I love that episode. It's like one of my favorite episodes.
It was good
so far of the whole series. So I love the wedding. I love the whole crying and everything. I think Radak said it best when he was like, it gave me hope that there will be a time when we're past all of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
When COVID and everything is in the past and stuff. So anyway, the next new episode will be on March 2nd. It will be episode 7 of season 4 called Hero Moment, where we finally explore Conrad's military past. There's been 4 seasons of we know he's a Marine vet, but we don't know anything else. So we're finally going to be able to explore that. We meet when Conrad goes and rescues his army commander and stuff. So March 9th is 4:08. The episode is titled First Day, Last Days. Nick gets back to work after the stabbing, and so is her attacker. Her attacker is also back on the same day that she goes back to work. So we're going to deal with the attack again. We're also probably going to deal with the emotional.
Yeah, the trauma of that.
Yeah. And then, so the usuals. We have the Instagram page. Go follow us at the Resident Podcast. Twitter is Resident Podcast. Facebook, we have the Resident Rule Breakers Podcast page. We also have our Facebook group, which is the Resident of Fox Faves. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. Email us at theresidentrulebreakers@gmail.com, and Patreon account is www.patreon.com/theresidentrulebreakers. Anything else you want to plug in, Brittany?
No, I don't have anything going on yet.
I do want to plug in that I have a second podcast. If you guys want to listen to it, if you're a Hallmark movies fan, right now it's only on Podbean and on Apple Podcasts. I review Hallmark movies, so it's called Hallmark Heartbeat. So go listen to it, please. Anyway, signing off. Hey, I see we don't have a podcast next week, but signing off for this week, I am Camille.
I'm Brittany.
And see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.